On the 526th day of the war in Ukraine, the fighting was concentrated in these areas. In the direction of Vremivka-Vuhledar line, pro-Russian sources acknowledged the advance of the Ukrainian army near Vuhledar. As we reported yesterday, the Ukrainian forces managed to drive the Russian troops out of the southern outskirts of the city. Russian sources confirmed that the front line is now near the town of Mykilske, which continues to be under the control of the Russian army but is already under heavy pressure from the Ukrainian artillery and drone units. According to the Russians, the short-term objective of the Ukrainian command is to take the Russian positions along the Kashlahach river line and then try to advance towards the city of Volnovakha, a key logistical point for the Russian troops on the Zaporizhzhia and Donetsk fronts. After the advance south of Vuhledar, it is reported that during the last few days, the Ukrainian forces have also improved their tactical position southwest of Pavlivka. It seems that with the arrival of new reinforcements on this front, Ukrainians will attempt to start substantial offensives in the area south of Vuhledar in the following weeks. On the other side of the front, as reported by official Ukrainian sources, Russian forces again conducted small-scale attacks trying to recover their lost positions west of Staromayorsk and near Vuhledar. According to the spokesman of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Pavlo Kovalchuk, their attempts were unsuccessful. The Ukrainian army continued to strike the positions of the Russian forces in Urozhaine during the night, as shown in this geolocated video. On the other hand, Russian sources informed that the Ukrainian command is replenishing manpower and ammunition, preparing for a new offensive on this front. Artillery and drone units of the armed forces of Ukraine continue to damage the Russian rear, causing problems to the supply lines of the Russian troops in this front. Today, important developments are reported from the Bakhmut front, where according to pro-Russian sources, their units have been forced to withdraw completely from their positions in Klishchiivka and Andriivka. Forced by the advance of the Ukrainian battalions, the Russian forces left their initial positions and are now trying to set up a defensive line along the railway. Although most of the Russian forces have now abandoned these areas, the Ukrainian army is being careful in its advance to avoid falling in the range of the Russian artillery fire. Ukrainian forces have slowly advanced north of Klishchiivka, where heavy clashes are taking place near the forest area. At the same time, a slow and watchful advance continues towards the villages of Andriivka, Zelenopilya and Kurdyumivka from the north. In Kupiansk-Lyman front, heavy battles were reported along the entire front line. In the Lyman-Pershizhzhia line, the Russian forces continue their attacks in a wide area, but without making any significant progress. In the central part of the front line, the Ukrainian units of the 92nd Mechanized Brigade stopped another powerful attack of the Russian forces in the direction of Novoselivske, destroying some tanks and armored vehicles of the Russian army. In this part of the front, the battles have been going on for several weeks, but it seems that lately the Russian forces are increasing their efforts to break through the Ukrainian lines near Novoselivske. A few kilometers to the south, Ukrainian military experts confirmed the success of the Ukrainian forces in recapturing the villages of Nadia and Novoyehorivka, but they warn that the situation on the Kreminna front is becoming more difficult for the Ukrainians. According to the military expert Dmytro Snegiryov, the elite forces of the Russian army are concentrated on the Lyman-Kreminna line, because according to him, this front is of a lot more interest to the Russian command because a big advance in this direction would enable the Russian forces to flank the Ukrainian troops on the Donetsk region. According to him, the Russian forces are putting pressure by attacking the Ukrainian defenses in several directions, in the area of the Serebyankas forestry, south of Dibrova, in the Torske ledge, as well as in the eastern flank of Bilohorivka. Friends, if you like my daily updates, I kindly ask you to hit the like and subscribe buttons, as this will greatly help the channel to reach a wider audience. That's all for today's update. Thank you to my Patreon supporters and have a great day.